All right, welcome into our first ever Sidekicks cast. I am Scott Wegener, your host, sitting alongside of me. It's kind of fitting. Juan Gamboa, number one, so number one on the field, and our first guest. So Juan, thanks for taking the time to join us. And I'm just going to be completely upfront. I forgot to hit record, so we've already run through this one time. But thanks for joining me, man.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Juan just announced from the Sidekicks that you have re-signed for your 5th season. With the Sidekicks. First off, congratulations, and second, tell me a little bit about what went into the decision to re-sign with the Sidekicks, man.
I mean, it wasn't a very tough decision. I love playing for the Sidekicks. I grew up watching the Sidekicks. I grew up watching the legends that we know of, the Sidekicks. So getting the opportunity to come up here 5 years ago was pretty much a no-brainer. I had to leave my parents and my friends behind, but moving up here, I was able to, find my family, my wife, and I'm building my family, and I want to stay here for as long as possible.
Awesome. So I wanted to mention the family as well. We'll get to Jamie, your wife, in a little bit because I actually have a question for you about her. But I wanted to know, so for those of you that don't know, Juan and his wife Jamie, you guys had twins, what, 7 months ago?
In August, so they turned 8 months in April. They'll be this May.
Awesome. So how is everything going with the twins, considering we're on the quarantine and all of the chaos that's happening in the world right now?
Yeah, the quarantine kind of, I didn't have to go to school anymore. I had to work from home. So that gave me a great opportunity to get to spend time with my babies. My fall and winter was very busy with high school soccer, sidekick soccer, and all that stuff. So, this quarantine came in as a blessing where I got to stay home and watch my babies grow. I've gotten to see them do a lot of their first. So it's a blessing in disguise. It gets a little crazy sometimes with 2 babies crying and all that stuff, but I wouldn't trade it for the world.
So have you included the babies in any of your videos? Because you're a teacher, right? So have you included the twins in any of your videos for your students at all?
Well, we haven't really had to do videos for students. I'm at a high school, so it's more of web-based work and stuff like that. So, but we have gotten them in a couple of Zoom meetings with all the other teachers and administration.
I'm sure there were plenty of awes in there for you. I want to quickly get back to soccer before we kind of tackle a little bit more that I want to talk about in the quarantine. I just want to know, what's it like, man? So I've played indoor soccer before, and I played soccer growing up, but obviously not anywhere near the level that you're playing at right now. What's it like to stare down guys like, the Frank Tayus of the worlds, the Craig Chiles, the Uber Perry Poviches, the Ian Bennetts, and have a shot coming at you at God only knows what mile per hour from 10 feet away, man? Does it take you got to be a little bit crazy just to want to do that? Or kind of give me what it's like. What does it feel like being back there when you know it's coming?
Yeah, at the end of the season, I always tell myself, what the heck was I thinking about? And then I always end up re-signing for, I hope to play this game as long as my body allows it. It's just fun. It's fun being out there. It's fun competing. Knowing that these guys are such players, and I may not stop all of their shots, but the ones I save, it makes you feel like it makes you feel good as a keeper, holding those guys to as little goals as possible.
Yeah. So I stand behind the goal while you guys are warming up, and I always give you, hey Juan, I'm back here, save my life, please. I would appreciate it. And you always give me the thumbs up because we're usually back there with kids and stuff that are watching. And it just blows my mind, the pace at which the shots are coming in, and, just getting a glove up there. It's really impressive. But I wanted to ask you, since we're talking about saves, do you have like a save from maybe this past season or maybe any season that you remember that you think of and you're like, man, that one was sweet. That one was the best. That one really kind of got me jacked up for the game.
it might not have been a very important one, but getting able to play against Landon Donovan and saving his one-on-one shot in San Diego, I mean, that made me feel kind of cool. But other than that, I mean, I just try and save as many as possible and try and keep my team in it as long as I can. And I can't really think of one off the top of my head, but I mean, I just try and do my best out there for the team.
Okay, well, I can think of one. So I'll tell you my little fun story. It was when this past season the Sidekicks were playing Utica, and I believe it was either late in the third quarter or early in the fourth quarter. And the Sidekicks, you guys were still kind of mounting that comeback that you had. And there was a save where they slid the ball across the middle of the field, across the middle of the box, and you came right across the field with your whole body and you just got big and just took one. You just took one for the team. And honestly, I see stuff like that. I'm like, man, these guys are just a little bit nuts, right? Like, so that's probably one of my favorite saves that I've seen from you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Let's stick with the soccer for right now, but I want to transition to what you've got behind you. A bunch of different goalie gloves. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the brand that you've started and that you're kind of rolling with here?
Yeah, I mean, I've always loved to draw and design and all that kind of stuff. And back in 2012, I mean, I just took a shot and sent over some designs to a manufacturer and got my first samples made. And, I mean, just worked through the process of finding the correct manufacturers and good material that I felt comfortable in putting out as my own brand, as my own collection type of thing. So I've been working on it for a while. I mean, it's more of as a hobby. I'm not very good at business, but I mean, I love designing. I love seeing people wear my gloves and my designs. So just knowing that people enjoy wearing my designs and my gloves makes me feel good. Yeah.
So I want to ask, where do you get the inspiration for your designs? Is it just something that pops up in the middle of the night? Are you constantly drawing? Tell me a little bit about that process.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I can I just start thinking about stuff, or I see I've had some inspiration from old school stuff, like Jorge Campos was my idol. So my first kind of designs were based off of something that maybe he would wear. And then from there, I mean, I just get ideas in my head and I just draw them out. And a lot of them don't make it to actual product. But, I mean, if you check my sketchbooks and my iPads, it's full of drawings and ideas of different strap ideas, different backhand ideas. So, yeah, it's a constant, it just pops in my head. I'm like, ooh, that feels kind of cool. So I draw it, and I've designed for other companies. I've designed for other brands here in the United States and in England. They've asked me for designs and stuff like that. So just knowing that they're out there, I mean, it makes you feel pretty cool.
Do you have a favorite glove or design? A favorite design, I suppose.
That's like kind of choosing your favorite kid, I think. I mean, I feel comfortable in all my designs. I love all my models. If I were have to go with one at the moment, just because it provides in my mind, it provides a little bit more comfort and cushion, would be the G Ultras. I mean, this model right here just provides a good amount of cushion when I have to face those hard shots. So when I play the indoor game, I wear something that's going to provide a little bit more support and cushion between me and the shots coming in.
Awesome, man. I dig it. I think my favorite design is the kind of right over your what would that be, your left shoulder, the pink and blue. I dig that. Was that for the Twins?
Yeah, I designed the colorway in inspiration for my baby. So one glove is pink and the other glove is baby blue. So they have the opposite colors up here in the fingers. And, of course, one would be because I have a baby girl, and the other one is for my baby boy. So it was kind of cool to be able to do that for them.
Awesome, man. All right. Well, we couldn't talk about your babies without talking about your wife, obviously, who is probably the biggest Sidekicks fan I think I have ever met in my entire life. You think that's fair to say?
I would say she's up there with the big time fans. Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with you.
I've had the chance to sit with her, here and there throughout the games, and Jamie and I have become, friends, I suppose you could call it. And man, she is a fun one to sit around. If you ever get a chance to sit next to Juan's wife at a game, I highly suggest taking the opportunity. But I wanted to ask you specifically kind of about her work right now. What's it like? So for those that don't know, Jamie is a nurse practitioner, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. And so she's been on the front lines, obviously battling during the COVID-19 crisis that we're in, or the pandemic. What's it been like to have, somebody so close to you, the mother of your children, your wife, be on the front lines of this pandemic, and kind of what has it taught you about her and just about life in general, I suppose?
I mean, it's kind of hard to explain. I mean, she just goes out and does her job like if nothing's happening. But at home, we understand the seriousness of the stuff she's doing right now and all the exposure she's exposed to, I guess. So I mean, all we really can do is support her and make sure she understands that we understand how brave and important her job is that she's doing right now, and just let her know that we're going to try and keep the babies as safe and as taken care of as possible while she's not here.
And I understand. So we're recording this on Mother's Day right now, and I understand she's at work today. Is that true?
That's correct. Yeah, unfortunately, she had to work all weekend pretty much. So yeah, I mean, it's a tough job. She has 12-hour shifts, and she gets home late once the babies are down. So I know it's hard for her just because she doesn't get as much baby time when she does work. So I mean, all we can do is say thank you to her for being out there and working while most of us are getting to stay at home and be with our family.
So do you have anything, since it is Mother's Day, she's at work, you got anything planned for her for today?
I made sure I got her some of her favorite breakfast before she left and all that stuff, and she might get home to a couple other little surprises.
Oh, look at you. Very cool, my man. One other thing I wanted to ask you about the quarantine. Have you picked up any new hobbies? Have you been watching movies? I mean, obviously with, two relatively newborn children, you're probably got your hands full, I'm sure, with diapers and feedings and whatnot. Yeah. But any new hobbies for you during this?
I mean, like you said, with babies, it's kind of hard. It's a full-time, one sleeps, one's awake. You're taking care of this one, you're doing this. I do have my mother-in-law here helping. But I mean, I feel bad leaving her with the babies for too long by herself. So I try and stay up with the babies as much as possible, just so she knows that we're not trying to take advantage of her and we want to help out as much as possible also. I mean, I've been working on a new website. I've been trying to fix that up for my company, trying to learn a little bit of coding, watching videos. But I mean, I don't get to watch too much movies. I did get to watch the new season of Ozark, which was, but I was watching that like at 10, 11, and 12 at night, and I was falling asleep through it. But I had to watch it. I had already watched both seasons, so I wanted to see what the third season was about.
Did you like the third season? Were you a fan?
Yeah, it was good.
That ending. Whew, yeah. You, man. Holy cow. I don't want to spoil it for anybody that hasn't seen it, but my wife and I watched it, and it was awesome, man. I loved the third season. All right, I want to take it back to soccer here before we kind of wrap things up. It's no secret that the Sidekicks had a pretty tough season last year. The record wasn't as great as obviously you guys wanted it to be. You went out to Ontario and had to play in different teams' uniforms because you had all of your stuff stolen, which I understand you were had a lot of your stuff stolen. Record-wise, again, it just wasn't where I know you guys wanted to be and were hoping to be. But what were some of the positives that you took from last season, and things that you're looking at for next season to kind of grow this team to have better outcomes? What were some of the positives you looked at from that or took from that?
I mean, the group, our group of guys that are together at the moment, or that were together last season. I mean, it was a great group of guys. Everybody got along really well. Everybody did what they needed to do. Like you said, the record didn't show all the hard work and all the stuff that we put into it. A lot of games were lost by 1 or 2 goals, or in overtime. We went to shootout a couple times. So there was a lot of games that could have flipped the record a little bit better for us. But, I mean, overall, I feel like the group we have is a great group of guys. The majority of that group were outdoor players trying to learn the indoor game. And if you could tell by the end of the season, we were playing some good indoor soccer. We were just still lacking that last quarter concentration. Maybe we kind of lose a little bit of concentration, and teams would either come back or finish us off in that last quarter, which I feel with a little bit more experience, we'll be able to hold off our leads or regain leads in that fourth quarter. But the group of guys we have is very, very talented, and hopefully this next season will show the growth of the younger players. And when we get those injured players like TJ and Nando and anybody else that might have been injured this season, once we get them back and 100%, it's going to be a whole new team.
Yeah, that was gonna actually be my next thing. How injuries affected this team. You know, TJ Nelson being out. I mean, one of your best defenders. I think that's pretty fair to say. And a guy that can actually, play offense relatively well, too. I know Evo missed a lot of the season at the end of the year when games were still kind of mattered in your conference, because, things weren't, given the record and the struggles that you guys had, things weren't out of reach at the end of the year. You still had, a couple wins and you're right back in it. So, hopefully injuries will help with that. We'll end with this last question. You got a prediction for next year?
I mean, our goal is always to make playoffs, so we're going to strive to make playoffs. I know we've been saying it for the last couple of seasons, but I mean, hopefully this season's the one we can push through and get all the right connections at the right time and make that stretch that we've been waiting for. I mean, that one little missing piece that we've been having. Hopefully this season it all comes together and we get the record we need to make it into the playoffs.
Well, I definitely know that I'm excited. I've become a converted Sidekicks fan. I've always been an indoor soccer fan, but I obviously working for the Sidekicks now. I've fallen in love with the team. I've got to know you guys. It's such a great group of fellas, and you guys are always so cool and everything. So we're always rooting for you in the front office. I know the fans are really, really excited to kind of get things back to normal, and I think the Sidekicks being back out there is one of those things that would, kind of help things, bring things back to normal as well. But Juan, I wanted to say appreciate you taking the time to sit down and chat with us, and wishing you the best of luck this season. And again, congrats on returning to the Sidekicks for your 5th season, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for thinking about me when you decided on this new idea that we're going to be pushing out. So I appreciate that, and I can't wait to see some of the other guys on here.
Awesome, man. Well, good luck with the Twins. I'm rooting for you. I'm not gonna lie, I do not envy you at all on that front, but I'm sure you're loving it, man. And we will talk to you soon, and looking forward to seeing you out on the field, man.
Thank you.
All right, take care, bud.
You too. Bye-bye.